This is our IELTS General Training Writing Task 1 for today. And this is a Band 9 sample answer. Today, we'll discuss the 4 things that are fundamental to your success in Task 1. Learn how to write a Band 9 letter sentence by sentence, and you'll be able to download the sample answer in PDF linked in the description. It's Asia. Let's get started. The best way to start is by looking at a typical IELTS Task 1 question from one of recent exams. Here it is. Write a letter to the local council about plans to close a children's playground in your area. In your letter, you should say why children are not using the playground. Explain how important the playground is for the local community. Suggest how the playground could be improved. Write at least 150 words. Begin your letter with Dear Sir or Madam. Before you start writing your answer or we look at the sample letter, I want to show you 4 things you need to get right to be able to write a letter that can get a high score. First of all, what type of letter is it? Is it formal or informal, or perhaps something of both, known as semi-formal? In our example, the topic is serious, and we are writing to someone we don't know, local council or local administration. It's formal, isn't it? Next, the examiner will pay special attention to tone. Tone refers to the grammar and vocabulary we use. In my experience, students often struggle with their tone and also with deciding how formal their letter should be in the first place. In my courses, we pay a lot of attention to both. But now let me give you a very brief overview. If the letter is formal, then our sentences will tend to be complex with the use of linking words such as however, therefore, and furthermore. There will be no contractions or short forms of any grammatical structures. So it will be there is and not there is. I am and not I'm. What else? Well, the more formal modal verbs will have preference over the less formal versions. So it will be could rather than can, for example. And more passive voice. This should be improved sounds more formal than you should improve this. The vocabulary will be more formal too. For example, the verb to request is more formal than to ask. Number 3, bullet points. We have 3. Say, explain, suggest. You must address or cover, give information about each bullet point in your letter. And you need to write enough about each of them, not just briefly mention them. And you must avoid irrelevant information, as you lose points if you write something that's not required in the task. A letter, especially a formal one, must have a clear structure. There are several options to choose from, but in our letter, we have this: a greeting, an opening that states the purpose of the letter and probably some information about the sender, followed by at least 2, but usually 3 paragraphs that cover those bullet points. Sometimes we'd have an ending, but not in this letter. And a sign-off. When you're planning your letter, find a story you're gonna tell in your letter first, and then start writing. Let's look now at our letter step by step. Greeting. In our task, IELTS gives us that opening with begin your letter with Dear Sir or Madam. So there is nothing to think about. And by the way, this is also a clear indication that the letter is formal. We've mentioned that a formal letter must start by telling the reader why you're writing. At the same time, it's important to say who is writing. So we should introduce ourselves. How about opening with something like this? I hope this letter finds you in good health and you had a lovely weekend. What do you think? No, there is no need for further greetings or inquiring about their free time. Go straight to the point. Who and why? As a long-term resident in the Mayflower district, I am writing to express my opposition to the proposed closure of the play area situated on Drake Road and to suggest how it might be improved for the benefit of local children. Yes, you do get a higher score for complex sentences, but the problem is that a lot of them are incorrect. They're just very long and confusing. So let me show you how to write a sentence like this. We have two simple parts. I am a resident and I am writing to you. So we can join them into one. As a resident in the Mayflower district, comma, don't forget the comma, I am writing. This is the who part. Now, why? I am writing to you, firstly, to express my position, and secondly, to suggest how. So that's the goal of my letter. And the phrase itself, I am writing, in the present continuous, is very common in formal writing. What are we suggesting? How it might be improved. This is a very formal structure. It's passive. I'm not saying how you should improve. It's too direct and sounds impolite. How it might be improved is more impersonal and appropriate. The tone is so important. If this sentence is a bit too much, here is a shorter version. I am writing to you to request that you reconsider or change your decision to close the children's playground. Shorter but still perfectly formal. The choice of words in the entire sentence also highlights this formality. I'm a resident. I don't just live in the area. I've lived there for a long time, so I'm a long-term resident. I'm against the idea of closing the playground. That's fine, but in more formal language, that becomes I express my opposition to the proposed closure of the play area. What else? I think it's always a good idea to add little details such as location, Mayflower District, Drake Road. Now we're into the main or body paragraphs. We must cover those 3 bullet points. The first is more descriptive. We must say why the playground is not so popular these days. Probably because it's in a bad state. So I did it in 2 sentences. The first admits that not many use the playground. It is true that few currently use the facilities, but this is because they are old and poorly maintained. The following sentence gives examples. So this is a perfect moment to use some topic-specific vocabulary, if you can. But we're not expected to be experts on children's playgrounds. For example, 2 of the swings are broken, the climbing frame is rusty, and the area at the foot of the slide is always muddy. Swings, a climbing frame, and a slide, these are less common words that are perfect for this task because they are topic-specific, not some big and unusual words which usually don't quite fit into the context. And notice the paraphrasing from the playground in the question to play area in the opening and now onto the facilities. A very useful word. We can talk about airport facilities or restaurant facilities. On we go to the next bullet point. Explain how important the playground is for the local community. I decided to just point out how many families with young children live in the area. Always check that your writing is polite and not too accusatory. Here is my version. We should not forget, however, that many young families live in the area, and their offspring need a space where they can enjoy outdoor recreation instead of spending their time in front of screens. Again, the grammar is complex and the vocabulary relatively formal. And we see the connector. However, please notice the punctuation, a comma before and after. There is also a gerund spending because it follows the preposition instead of. I've also tried to vary the vocabulary. Children of young families become offspring. And please note that it can be singular or plural. There is no S at the end, it's just offspring. Offspring means children, but not any children, someone's children. Their offspring need outdoor recreation, in our case, instead of time playing outside. And the third bullet point. Suggest how the playground could be improved. This bullet point is the most important one because it needs more complex language. When we make suggestions, we could be using conditional sentences with if, making predictions with modal verbs such as could, might, or should. However, just as before, we don't want to overcomplicate the suggestions. Here, I decided to point to just two main ones, proper maintenance and some updating. Here is the first sentence. It's very complex. I would suggest that the council not only repairs what is currently there, but also modernizes the area by installing new recreational facilities, such as a playhouse for young children and a climbing wall for older ones. In the first sentence, the use of modality I would suggest and later that could include help create a sense of formal politeness. I'm not trying to force anything, I'm only making suggestions. We also have the useful not only but also structure to neatly include 2 points, repairs and modernizes. A simpler version of the sentence would be, I would suggest that the council repairs what is currently there and installs new recreational facilities. Choose the level of complexity that's right for you. Don't make your writing simple because you need a certain level of complexity for a higher score, but for a band 7 score, many sentences must be correct. Too complex and wrong is definitely not the way. Next. Investing in our children's social and physical well-being in this way can only lead to a better future for our community. The second sentence is a kind of summing up, a message to the readers that underlines the importance of keeping the site as a playground. It starts off with another gerund, investing, and links to the prospect of a better future. This sentence refers back to what was said at the start of the letter, that it's all for the benefit of the local children. Maybe parts of this final paragraph could be made even more grammatically complex, using the passive voice, for example. I would suggest that not only the current facilities be repaired, but that the entire area could be modernized. Be repaired, could be modernized, all the passive verbs. And I did think about that, but then decided that it's better to make the council the subject. The passive voice often creates a feeling of distance, but it's totally okay to use. And the second sentence could be made more complex with a conditional sentence with if. If we invest in our children's social and physical well-being in this way, it can only lead to a better future. Yes, it's a nice alternative. Examiners will always notice and give credit to conditional sentences. Either version is great. Task 1 leaves it up to us to finish the letter the way we choose. In a formal letter, there are conventional ways to do this. In the UK and Australia, for example, it's customary to write yours faithfully if we don't know the name of the person we are writing to, and yours sincerely if we do. In the US, the trend is to use yours sincerely or sincerely yours in both cases. So the choice is yours. The examiner is open to all three possibilities. Some people say that the yours faithfully ending is falling out of fashion. That might be true, and it's all part of a general move in language towards less formality. But fashion or not, I'm going for it. Yours faithfully, Alex Roberts. And don't forget the comma. You can use your real name or just invent one if you prefer. 183 words. It's a good number. You won't have time to write more than that in 20 minutes. And you can download this sample answer as PDF in the video description. If you'd like to learn how to answer each type of IELTS writing task 1 and 2, how to fulfill each requirement and write more quickly to finish your answers on time, as well as preparing for other sections, check out my IELTS preparation courses linked in the description. They provide step-by-step preparation and can help you prepare in less time and achieve a higher score. And if you'd like to feel this difference between formal and informal styles a bit better, I have a video comparing formal and informal phrases that we use in letters right here. And thank you so much for watching me today. Good luck with your preparation and your exam. Bye!